Hello, my name is Noah Collell, and today I'm presenting Parasocial Bonding's ability to predict positive growth in education. My paper was inspired by Dr. Keturah Whitehurst. She was the daughter of an ex-slave who was a minister, and he wanted her to grow up educated. This most likely affected her job decision in the future when she grew up, which was to become an experimental psychologist. During her time, she became the head of an English department in South. There, she created her thesis, How Does Fantasy Affect Psychological Growth? As many years went on, she finally retired in 1977 to take care of her aging mom. I chose her as my influence because of the title of her thesis, which made me question how does forms of fantasy influence our education and our growth psychologically? And a term that has been studied now and back then is parasocial interactions. Now, parasocial interactions are one-dimensional relationships in which you or someone else has a relationship with something in the media. That could be a fantasy character, that could be an actor, that could be a lot of different things. The reason why it's one-dimensional, it's one-sided relationship, is because that thing has no relationship back to you. The actor doesn't know you, most likely at least. The character that might not even exist, well, if they don't exist, they definitely can't have a relationship with you. These types of relationships have been studied at least back to the 1950s, late 1950s. They are important, and we do need to study them. In a paper in 2018, Gabriel et al. Found that parasocial relationships with Trump, with The Apprentice, the show, might have actually influenced people's voting habits to vote for President Trump. And they found that liberals and conservatives who had a parasocial relationship with Trump were more likely to vote for Trump. This leads me to my research question. As you can see over in the corner, Gordon Ramsay is there, and that isn't just there for just jokes. This is actually a part of my research, or what I would like to propose as research. Can parasocial relationships help predict positive growth in tasks or education? Well, during the pandemic, it's not easy to test things like that. So, what you can do is interc studies. And lots of times now, while people are at home in COVID, they watch shows, not to mention cooking shows. Gordon Ramsay has had many TV shows such as Kitchen Nightmares, and the list goes on and on and on. So I wonder if viewers of a cooking show such as Kitchen Nightmares exhibit a parasocial relationship with Gordon Ramsay, will they averagely perform better at cooking tasks than those who have a relationship with a real cook or someone who has neither? My methods would be to use MTurk, and I would want a sample size of at least 1,000 to 1,500 preferably. I would want 521 random MTurk participants in each group of parasocial relationship, regular relationship with a cook, or no relationship at all with Gordon Ramsay or a regular cook. The reason I chose that number for sample size is because it was used in the Apprentice study I explained before, so I am basing my study's numbers off of that, at least for sample size at the moment. Materials would mainly be MTurk and other programs to run the data and also to get surveys out and get participants. Finally, the procedures of the study would be to first give the survey to determine if the participant had a relationship, a parasocial relationship with Gordon Ramsay, or a real relationship with an actual cook that they knew or know, or if they have neither. Once that happens, they would be given the first cooking quiz, which would be a multiple choice and have just categorical or just numerical ways of figuring out how much their cooking knowledge is, how good it is. So once we would move on from that, then all three different types of participants would be sent a quick thing of information. Now, participants would then be sent a second cooking quiz afterwards, and it would be looked at if they increased, if their relationships or lack of relationships might have predicted their increase in scores after the second survey. I hypothesized that parasocial relationships can averagely strengthen positive growth in tasks, such as cooking in this experiment, just as much as a real relationship can. Both types of relationships will show more positive growth than no relationship at all. Finally, I conclude that studies like this need to be done more. Evermore we grow in technology. It continues to progress. I'm recording on a computer, on a phone screen that's hooked up to a computer right now. Parasocial learning goes on with Skillshare, YouTube, all kinds of different things. It is something that needs to be studied because how will we know if it's an effective teaching method without study? And as not only technology comes, things like COVID, stuff from our environment, pushes us more to parasocial relationships and teaching that does not have true relationships. That is a study I would like to propose. Thank you.